Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, July 9th, and we're looking at the last 5 days of the SPY ETS market profile here on Window Trader. And the reason for that is because all we did today, after gapping higher, was stretch the 4-day balance to the downside and end with a 5-day balance. Close basically right in the middle of the 5-day balance. Had a chance for an outside day down, ripped higher in L, which put the odds of an outside day up, possibly, to the upside, only to have M period close basically in the middle of the 5-day balance. Both sides have proven to be incredibly weak when they get a chance to do something, right? Look at this 5-day balance. M period on the 2nd forced it down, only to see us gap higher on Monday. Tuesday, after the gap filled, we open lower, gap lower. Sellers have a chance. Oh, no, they don't. We go higher, only to close with a price probe. Well, we're definitely going lower than on Wednesday. Nope, we open inside, go up, try to get down to rip higher. And then today we gap higher. We have 3 daily highs now, folks, pretty close to each other. Gap higher, close the gap, and then rip in B, C, and D lower. Have a set of single prints, 250 ticks. That's huge. We actually had 2 other sets of singles that were filled fairly quickly. And then we just did the old grind dance and filled all 250 ticks. We did 22 million shares in B, C, and D combined. It took the next 3 hours and change to do 22 million shares to get that grind back up. Now, I'm in 6-tick increments. J's low is lower than I's. This is very important. I'm using L as an afternoon rally high, and I'm also using J as an afternoon pullback low, but they are nowhere near the textbook definition of those things. I'm using them because we have a fairly large range, and there's nothing else to lean on either side. We're only 7 wide. We have no single prints, so I'm just going to use them as guides for tomorrow and reference points. Are they something really firm to lean on? Not necessarily, but I will use them. Value went from higher to unchanged to overlapping to lower to unchanged for me. Now, I know the ES closed overlapping to lower, but this is in 6-tick increments. If I put this in 1-tick increments, today's value high is above yesterday's high, and the value low is below yesterday's low, which makes it unchanged. So the price action inside these 5 days has been pretty mind-numbing to watch. And it's not on heavy volume either. But man, they rip these things from one level to the other without thinking twice about it. It was an excellent day in the room today. I had a good day. Much better day than yesterday. I didn't even trade that much. I took 1 large trade that worked out, but nothing great. Other than that, I took lots of 40 and 50 contracts, some 20s. The first trade I did was an A period. I actually did it long versus the gap, right? The gap was a nice size for me. Now, before I even go on with that, remember the opening 8 out of 13 time frames? Well, we never saw the opening after A. Now, that would have worked to be short in B, C, D. But if you were working off of that in E, F, G, H, I, J, you were losing. But it did hold. I took 2 long plays in A, below the opening, above the gap, and they both worked out. Nothing big, but they worked out. Then we started the one-time framing down dance. So I was short in B when we took out A's low. I was short in C when we took out B's low. I was short in D against the single prints and yesterday's low, and they all worked out. And then I took one in G against the single prints. I didn't stay married to it because once we started one-time framing up and got accepted back into yesterday's range, I didn't think they were going to last, but they were still fairly large. I took a short that worked out. That was the large short I took. I thought maybe we would roll. We didn't, but I got enough out of them. I bought 460 contracts. made money on about 360 of them. Lost on the last 100, but I certainly made money on the trade. Okay. I period. I took a short versus H's high again, and the single prints. I thought the single prints would get filled, but we'd roll back down. That worked out. I was a very weird period because I wasn't in it when I took out H's high. It just absolutely reversed. It got totally rejected and took out H's low. Now here's something. We had 3 reversal bars out of 4 time frames. I, J, and L. Now we've been having those a lot, but usually you don't see 3 of them out of 4 time frames. That is such uncertainty, such mindless machines that's ripping this one way or the other inside of, right, double distribution we had. And and all those reversal bars basically happen inside of that double distribution. So price action at times has not been that easy to call. But that short worked out, and then I took a short in M period. It opened, right? Usually it returns to its open, and it traded down. I was actually looking for it to take out J's low, and I was going to get long to go back to where M opened. But it never did that. It went to where M opened. I took a short, and it came back down a bit, got out of it, and then it just bounced all over the place. Let's go over destinations for tomorrow. So for the upside, I'm using L's high, again, as an afternoon rally high of 315.54. Then we have 3 daily highs that are very close to each other. 317.10, today's high. 317.52, the 7th high. And then 317.68. And then filling the gap at 318.22 from June 11th. Above that, we don't have anything into those. I think it's the perfect POC, I believe. 319.95, 13 wide from June 10th. For the downside, I am using J's low. I'll call an afternoon pullback low. But again, it is far from the textbook definition of 313.18. Something to lean on. Then our daily low of 310.68, which is now the balance of this 5-day balance. Below that, we have 310.45 from July 1st. So we ripped down today, and can't even get the naked POC. This is a naked POC. And the reason it's a naked POC is because the day it happened, it was an upside destination for the second, but we gapped above it. So we have not seen it. So it's a naked POC. We've never traded at it. We couldn't even get that or the afternoon pullback low in H period from July 1st. Short-term traders running the show. So those are your destinations to the downside. Now, let's go to the charts. Monthly, we haven't looked at the monthly in a couple of days. One time framing up for 2 months, right? Out of that inside month, so it's still very healthy. For now, again, it's only July 9th. We have the whole month, but you'd like to close above March's high, 313.84. We close at 314.38. We have a long time to go. We're bouncing out of March's high. We're bouncing in out of last week's high. A lot of indecision. One time framing up in the monthly. Weekly, 7-week balance after tomorrow. These last 3 weeks are the more important ones for now. You want like to close above 315.70. This is 4 days in a row we've gotten above it, but 3 days we've closed below it. Is that something to worry about? Possibly. But the fact that we even got close to it today after today's sell in the morning tells you how weak the sellers are. I don't think it shows you how resilient the buyers are. I think it just shows you how weak either side is. So here's our 5-day balance. Right? 315.70 is last week's high. The last 4 days, we've gotten above it. The only day we closed above it was the 6th. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday have each closed below it. So to me, that is still my line in the sand. Because if we get above this 5-day balance, this gap should go and we get inside this 4-day balance. But before we can do that, we have to get above 315.70 and stay there. If we don't, well, this 5-day balance low is going to get taken out, which is today's low, And I think if we get accepted below the 310 level or 3100 level in the ES, you're going to get pit stops, and we're going to start trading down towards the bottom of this balance. So right now, this is an interesting low for the week. This is today's low. It's going to be interesting to see if that is our low for the week, or do we take it out again tomorrow. But however, whatever we do, if we don't close above 315.70, there has to be a little bit of a warning, red light flashing, that the buyers are running out of steam. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. We had a very good day today. Have a great evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.